Welcome back to Golden Blue Dude, everybody. And what we do here is college football and some college basketball videos every single day. I don't miss a day. So, if you're a college football fan and a college basketball fan, hit the like and subscribe button. Especially if you're a college football fan. I'm here to get you through the off season. Don't forget to check out my Patreon page. We have a wider selection. And I said yesterday was my deadline for the I Am Golden Blue Dude or We Are Golden Blue Dude video clip. But I had a few people message me today saying they were going to get it to me later today. So this is it. Today is definitely the last day. Midnight tonight. Have your video clip into my email, refssuk@gmail.com. And I'll have that email in the description of this video. And don't forget about my PayPal contest. The person with the highest donation to Golden Blue Dude through PayPal will win a 42-inch Roku Smart TV for $300. We have about 3 in my house, to be honest with you, and they work great. Auburn and Bryan Harsin are on bad terms right now. Really bad terms. You have all these rumors of where Bryan Harsin had a mistress at Boise State. Then he brought her over with him to Auburn and hired her as an assistant on the coaching staff. That's bad enough right there. On top of that, he's on vacation right now. He's trying to enjoy himself on vacation, maybe tipping a few margaritas back. Just kind of relaxing, enjoying life, making millions basically. Well, Auburn's on the other side of the fence. They're really starting to investigate this situation. They brought in several, and I mean several law firms to investigate this because Auburn is really thinking about firing Bryan Harsin. But the thing is, his contract, right now the buyout is $18.3 million. $9.5 million of that would be due within the next month. If they fired him today, they would owe him $9.5 million within a month, except if they have just cause. And that's why they got the legal affairs and all these attorneys involved in this situation, because Auburn is wanting to fire Bryan Harsin. Make no mistake about it. But they want to do it with cause. They don't want to have to owe him some money. They already owe Gus Malzahn a truckload of money. They don't want to add on to that pile of money. So both sides are digging in. This isn't just Auburn saying, hey, we're really going to look into this and try to fire Bryan Harsin. Bryan Harsin has also digged in. He's like, I ain't going nowhere. This is my job. I came here to do something. I'm sticking it out. So both sides are at a standstill, and they're on opposite sides of the fence. Now, even if it turns out that Auburn doesn't fire Bryan Harsin, that's got to be a little bit of a tense situation right there. I mean, think about it. You go to a job where you know they want to fire you, but they can't because of a contract, and you're just sticking it in their face and you're sticking it out. Well, tension still builds up, and that could be a tricky work atmosphere. And the biggest thing about this was a lot of the coaching staff leaving. I mean, there wasn't just a little bit of turnover. There was turnover, and then there was turnover from the turnover. The people that they replaced from the guys that left or fired, they left too. So there was turnover after turnover. And plus the players are leaving in droves. So this is not a good situation for Auburn. And I've heard both sides of the story, and even players have both attacked Bryan Harsin on Twitter, and they've also defended Bryan Harsin on Twitter. So everything, and I mean everything, is split down the middle. Whether they're wanting to fire him, he wants to say, players are attacking him, players are defending him, players left, players are staying, and then of course he has that side piece. I mean, this is a crazy situation. I don't think I've seen anything quite like this. We've seen a lot of crazy things in college football when it comes to stuff like this, but nothing quite like this. Very interesting situation, and nobody's backing down. That is for sure. Neither side is backing down anytime soon. Whenever I was doing my live show last night, I saw some sources saying that they're actually expecting an announcement that Auburn will fire Bryan Harsin. So the thing is, they're putting it out that they're going to fire him. So they're looking into just cause, but if they don't find the just cause, are they still going to fire him and owe him all that money? That's what it looks like. But right now, they're sticking to the legal matters and trying to do it in a manner to where they don't owe him any money. That's the biggest thing right now for Auburn. And I'm just wondering what the recovery time for something like this. Okay, let's say he does stay. Now he has this weight hanging over him. They couldn't prove anything with just cause, and they keep him hired begrudgingly. They don't want it, but they have to because they don't want to pay the buyout. So now you have this weight hanging over him. Will he be able to do his job effectively? Will the players respect him like they should? That's another thing. Has he lost the respect of the locker room over this entire situation? So it's not just as simple as firing or keeping him. It's a matter of what happens after whatever's going to happen happens. Okay, if they fire him with just cause, that solves everything. They fire Bryan Harsin, they don't owe him money, they go look for a coach. But at the same time, even that coach still has to deal with the repercussions of all this stuff. This is going to leave a bad taste there at Auburn for quite a while, I think. So you have that scenario. Then you have the scenario where they keep him. They wanted to fire him, but they couldn't find just cause, so they keep him. Then you have that weight. Lost the respect probably of the fans, well, most of the fans, most of the players. Will he be able to do his job effectively? And then there's this third scenario where they fire him without just cause. They do owe him money, and maybe they get some backlash from the fans or the media or stuff like that saying, hey, you fired him without a good reason. That's why we're having to pay him money. Maybe the fans will be upset that they have to dish out even more money to fire a coach that maybe some fans wanted to stay. So no matter how you look at it, this situation is bad for Auburn. No matter what the outcome is of this particular matter, it's all bad for Auburn. I don't see one single good scenario that could happen out of this. They fire Bryan Harsin with just cause, so they don't owe him money, but the coach after that has to deal with the repercussions of the situation. And you'll definitely have disgruntled fans. They fire him without just cause, and people wanted him to stay, and the coach after him would have to deal with that. And Auburn owes Bryan Harsin $18.3 million, $9.5 million of that due within a month. They don't fire him at all, and he has to deal with this anyway while he's at Auburn. And what happens to Bryan Harsin after all this? Let's say he does get fired. Will anybody else hire him? Well, we saw Hugh Freeze. They hired him over at Liberty, but he had way more success than Bryan Harsin. That's another thing. Bryan Harsin doesn't have success to fall back on. I mean, he did pretty decent at Boise State, but that's a group of 5 team. Not many people really put that much stock into that. I mean, it's fine, it's okay, but no success at the Power 5 level. I mean, you got to remember, Auburn went 6-7 last year after they got beat in their bowl game, so he doesn't have really any success in Power 5 position to fall back on, so there's that as well. And like I mentioned earlier, the recovery time. How long will the recovery time for Auburn be after this? And is there any potential NCAA sanctions that could come out of this? I don't know. I haven't heard anything, but if he's as big of a dog as we think he is, then there could certainly be some repercussions and some sanctions laid down from the NCAA on top of this. So it's a really tricky situation. I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen. I really don't know. All I know is Auburn definitely wants to fire Bryan Harsin. That is a fact. They definitely want to fire Bryan Harsin. I don't know if the rumors are true. It seems like it's true because they're told in great detail. I don't know if they can fire him with just cause or without just cause. I don't know. But the fact is, they do want to fire Bryan Harsin. So this is a toxic situation no matter the outcome. So y'all let me know in the comments section. Number 1, how do you think this will play out? And number 2, what do you think the consequences might be to Auburn after all this settles? Or will there be any consequences to Auburn? And let's face it, they play in one of the toughest divisions in all of college football, the SEC West. So they don't have any downtime to kind of get their breath and recover from this to have success in football later down the road. No, they're in the SEC West, so they need to get it together now. Anyways, y'all let me know in the comments section. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.